So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to do special angles. Let's focus on grade 10 to 11. Special angles, grade 10 to 11. So, mostly what is important is that we need to know what are the special angles. Special angles that we have is 0 degrees, we have 30 degrees, we have 60 degrees, and we have 90 degrees. So under trig, we are going to focus only on sine, cos, and tan. So we are going to focus on these three things. Never mind, it's not multiplication. Never mind, it's not multiplication. Never mind, it's not multiplication. So what is important is that we need to know which shapes are we going to use. Mostly for special angles, we use two shapes. These two shapes, they involve a triangle, which is this triangle, this one. So this triangle, mostly we use an equilateral triangle. So from this equilateral triangle, we know that the characteristics for an equilateral triangle is 60, 60, and then on top here is also 60 degrees. So we are going to divide this 60-degree angle. So we bisect. So this one is A, B, C. So we bisect our angle A, so that it will become what, 30 and then 30. This one is 90 degrees. So we are going now to deal with this part of this triangle. But let's assume that this is 2 centimeters, this is 2 centimeters. So if it's an equilateral triangle, it means that 2, 2, therefore this one is what, 1 and 1. So what we are saying is that let's use one triangle for us to be able to deal with our special triangles. Mostly we use these triangles mostly when the question says calculate without the use of a calculator. If they say without the use of a calculator, that's when now you must use an equilateral triangle. So now let's use our triangle, which is what? AXC. We are using now our triangle, which is what? AXC. Our AXC, we know that this part is 30 degrees, this one 60 degrees, this one 90 degrees, right? So we have down here XC, it's 1, and then the hypotenuse here is 2. So we can be able to calculate our AX. So AX squared is equals to 2 squared minus 1 squared, which is equals to 4 minus 1, which is equals to 3. But this 3, because of this 2, we are going to square it. So it's going to be root 3. So our AX is root 3. So AX is going to be root 3. So that's what's happening now. So now we can be able now to come up with our angles without using a calculator. What are we saying? We are saying, let's say for example, if they say we know that we are dealing with, let's say what, 30, 60, also 45 is another special angle. I forgot, 45 is also a special angle. So we have 45, we also have what? We have 90. So I'm going to show you the 30, 60, and 45, then 0 and 90, you do it by yourself. Then we are saying now, let's say for example now, from this one, they said what? They said calculate this. So it's going to be what here? This is going to be, let's say here, it's going to be what? I don't have a ruler. So my ruler, they stole my ruler last night. I was hijacked. They hijacked me here, so they took my ruler. So now we are dealing with this one is tan, this one is cos, this one is what? Is sine. So let's go. Without the use of a calculator, we want to calculate the missing angle. So mostly here, we have our 30 and we have our 60. So we're going to deal with 30 and 60. We looked for the missing side, which was root 3. We managed to get it. How do we use it? How do we get it? We use Pythagoras here. You must show, because you must communicate what is happening. You must communicate, therefore you must give your reason there. So now I'm going to calculate using the other side. So this is the side that I'm going to use. So let's say, for example, we want to look for what? Let's say we are looking for tan 30 degrees without the use of a calculator. Tan, we know that tan is equals to opposite over adjacent. So what is our opposite on this triangle that we have here? This is our opposite. Opposite means the side that is opposite to the given angle. So this is our 30. So what is opposite to 30? It's 1. What is our adjacent? Adjacent is √3. So we have √3. That's our answer. So we can write here 1 over √3. We can write 1 over √3. So tan 30 degrees is equals to 1 over √3. So let's go. What is cos 30? What is cos 30 degrees? Cos, what is cos? Cos, we know that cos is equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse, which is our adjacent. What is our adjacent here? For 30 is √3. What is our hypotenuse? Is 2. So 2 is our hypotenuse. So we're gonna write here, this is our answer. Therefore, we are going to say cos 30 is equals to √3 over 2. So it's gonna be √3 over 2. What is sin 30? So that we don't use our board, all of it. Sin 30, sin is equals to what? Opposite over hypotenuse. What is our opposite for this one? Is this one, which is 1. Our opposite is 1. What is our hypotenuse? Is equals to 2. So which means even if you use a calculator, you're gonna get sin 30 equals to half. And then sin 30, so it's what? It's half. So that's what is happening there. And then we can now use 60. We are going to do the same thing. What is tan 60 degrees? Tan 60 degrees is equals to tan 60 degrees. Tan is equals to opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent. What is our opposite for 60? This is our opposite, this one, right? So our opposite is equals to √3. Our opposite is √3. What is our adjacent for 60? It's 1, which is the same as √3. So this is our answer. Then we can also do cos 60. Cos 60, we are saying adjacent over hypotenuse, which is equals to, what is our adjacent for 60, which is 1. What is our hypotenuse, which is 2. So we know that cos 60 is half, tan is equals to √3, and then sin 60 is equals to opposite over sin equals to opposite over hypotenuse. What is our opposite? Opposite is √3. What is our hypotenuse? Which is 2. So we can write here √3 over 2. So that's what's happening there. And then let me show you something quickly. That now, how do they know that you were using a calculator? Let's say, for example, let's say which one? Let's go with tan. Let's say tan 30. What is tan 30? Tan 30 is equals to, when you use a calculator, tan 30 using a calculator. If you use a calculator, you will realize that tan 30 from the calculator, if this calculator is properly adjusted, once the calculator, you must make sure that it's not under radians, it must be under degrees. So if your calculator is under degrees, it simply means that you should give it the proper answer. But if it's under radians, it will give you the proper answer. So if you use a calculator, it will give you here, is what I'm saying here, √3 over 3. But when you use special angles, you are going to get 1 over √3. So what is the difference? It means that they will seem you were using a calculator if you use, or if you manage to come up with this answer. It means that you are using a calculator. But this answer and this answer is the same. Is the same in what sense? Let's go with this one. It's 1 over √3. It means that here they are rationalizing. It's called rationalizing the denominator. They are rationalizing the denominator here. Okay, there's another topic called conjugation and what. So they are rationalizing. What is to rationalize? We are removing the square root from the denominator. How do you remove the square root from the denominator? Multiply here by root 3, multiply also here by root 3. It simply means that whatever you do to the denominator, you also do it to the numerator. So what will happen at the end? We are saying that this one, this root times this one, it will give us what? Root 3 times root 3, it will give us 3. And then 1 times root 3, anything multiplied by 1, it doesn't change. So this one and this one is the same. It simply means that in the calculator, they give you the answer which is already what? Rationalized. That's how they will see that when you were using a calculator. So they will give you the answer that is already rationalized. So that's for what? For 30 degrees and 60 degrees. Let me show you quickly the one for 45 degrees. For 45 degrees, we are using a square. So assuming that all the sides here, they are equal, we have a square called A, B, C, D. So this square, all the sides, they are equal. Yo, my square is nice, but all the sides, they are equal. All the sides, they are equal, which is 1, 1, 1, 1. So what do? We draw a bisector. We draw the bisector that will bisect angle B and angle C. Bisect angle B and angle C. You must communicate what you are doing so that we can be able to see what is happening. So mostly this is, if it's a square, these are 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees, 90 degrees. So which means that if we bisect, this one becomes what? 45. So this one becomes also 45. This one becomes 90. So let's use triangle CBD. Triangle CBD. I'm going to try to draw my triangle CBD. Now looking this up so that it can be easy for us to use with what everyone understands. Right? So this is what is happening. This is our C. This is our what? Our D. This is our B. So this is 90 degrees. This is 45. This is 45. Right? So we are going to say, we agree that this is 1 and 1 from the fact that it's a square. So we now need to calculate our BC. BC squared is equals to 1 squared plus 1 squared, which is equals to what? 1 plus 1 is 2, so it's going to be 2. Because of this squared, it's going to be root 2. So this is root 2. That's how we get root 2. Then you must communicate what is happening. We are using Pythagoras. Why are we using Pythagoras theorem? Because it is a right angle triangle. Now we can be able to calculate our tan 45 degrees. Tan 45 degrees is because tan is opposite over adjacent, which is equals, what is our opposite? Which is 1. 1 over adjacent 1, which is equals to 1. So it means if you punch in a calculator, tan 45, you get what? You get 1. So that's what is happening there. So some of the answers, they are similar. Some of the answers, they are going to be similar with what you can get, even though you can punch in the calculator. But others, they are not similar. So, okay. So let's go to cos 45. Cos 45 is equals to what? Cos 45 is equals to our adjacent over our hypotenuse, which is equals to what? Adjacent. What is our adjacent? 1, hypotenuse root 2. So we rationalize the denominator here. It will give you definitely, it will give you root 2 over 2. So this is the answer from the calculator. This is the answer from special angle. So those are two different answers. But at the same time, if you are not using the calculator, please go with 1 over root 2, which is for cos. 1 over root 2. And then we say tan is what? Tan 45 is equals to 1. Say this 1. And then sine 45, we can also do sine 45. Sine 45 degrees is equals to, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, which is equals to opposite 1, our hypotenuse root 2. So you rationalize also the denominator to give you root 2 over 2. This one is for the calculator, this one is for the non-calculator. So you're going to get 1 over root 2. So that's what is happening there. So this is what you call special angles. For now, let's stop here. For now, let's stop here. But what is important is that when they say without the use of a calculator, you must understand an equilateral triangle and a square, so that now you can be able to come up with the answers without using a calculator. And then I know that some of the learners, they are not so good in cramming with what is sine, what is cos, what is tan. So others, they use this thing, I don't know if you also use this thing. I don't know if you use this thing. But when I was at school, I was very, very intelligent. I was not using this nonsense, acronyms and cramming. I was just listening, understanding, and follow what is supposed to be used. So I was not following those shortcuts and whatever. I was doing like this. So this is what we call our special angles, which is 30, 45, and 60. 90 is also a special angle, but for now I'm not going to do it in relation to what we see here. And then follow my YouTube, and then you must also subscribe. Don't forget to like. And then I'm also going to post a video for grade 10 and grade 12 and grade 11 Euclidean. So I will record that video today. Just stay posted so that you can be able to know what is happening. Thank you.